to your new favorite podcast, Coffee Chronicles with the Z, with your girl Elle Stokes, Mimi J, and Megan S. So grab your favorite coffee cup with your drink of choice and join us on this conversation journey. So look, family, who heard of that man, Kevin Samuels? Well, if you haven't heard of him, he is a very opinionated man on relationships, women, how they look, everything under the sun. And he doesn't care. He's going to give it to you straight up, no chaser, and very raw.
High value men would rather go get the girl who works on fries at McDonald's than a six-figure top salesperson.
When it comes to relationships and dating and advice, he is someone that really does make you think, I have to go there. So, do you think someone who is seeking a relationship should seek a relationship based on income? Megan S., what you think about that?
I think that's a loaded question. I can't answer it directly at this time. I think yes and no, because I think it requires further investigation as to what that individual's aspirations are, what their goals are financially. So I think that is to take into consideration first and foremost. But initially, a part of the dating phase, I'd have to say that's something that we have to communicate. We have to talk about. And if it doesn't align with what my vision is as far as financial goals, then it would be something to consider. Where I am now, I would say it wouldn't be a factor, but there definitely has to be some sort of motivation, some ambition in whatever you desire to do, so that we can get where we can reach your vision and a vision together financially. So that's a loaded question, but I think everybody is different. Do I think it can you can have a prosperous or successful relationship with someone who makes 50, 60,000 less than you do? Absolutely, I do. Right? Because everybody has their own strengths. I think that's important to identify in any relationship and just take those things into consideration. But first and foremost, at this point, I would say no. But I have my reservations, and it would require further investigation.
Any woman looking and seeking for a man solely on income is the wrong look. Like, I don't think you should be trying to approach getting a relationship solely based off of what someone makes, because you are eliminating a lot of good men out there. Because sometimes a lot of women are successful and making a lot of more money. I mean, more money than men. And then they're looking for a man to match them. But sometimes that's just not realistic. Because sometimes you might need a man that's going to be home with the kids if you're such a busy mother, or a busy, your work, everything is hectic for you. So, and I just want to bring up an example, because Mona Scott, who does Love and Hip Hop, she has a husband that doesn't bring home as much income as her. And he supports her, and she seeks him for other things like love and affection and wisdom and things like that. So I just think you shouldn't go after a situation based on, oh, I need a nigga that do this and that and the third and got this and that. Oh, I can only date somebody if they got this and that. I just think it's the wrong mindset.
Yeah, I could relate actually to both of you guys. You see relationships, and in this world, sometimes majority the man makes more money. But like you said, times are changing where we have degrees, multiple degrees. We're in boardrooms, corporate America. Like Beyonce said, we're strong enough to bear the children and get back to business.
Strong enough to bear the children, then get back to business.
No, I think that I like the fact that there are men that can be in those roles as home, what do you call them? Stay-at-home dads or whatnot. But I think it takes a special type of man to play that role, because you deal with a lot of inferiority issues and in intimidation when it comes to a man knowing that their woman, their lady makes, their income is higher than theirs. So I think that has to be considered as well. And sometimes you do have men that will accept those roles because they want to be a part of what you have going on, right?
Mm.
So I think that should be taken into consideration. And it's not only men, um, women seeking men with higher income. Men do the same thing.
Yeah,
Men do the same thing.
they sure do. You're right. You are right. And it actually takes a strong man to even want to be in that role. You just made me think of that, Megan, as like with a man wanting to be, I guess, the homemaker. I think that that's take a strong man because society has placed these gender roles. Again, we talked about that before. So I think it does. You're right. You're absolutely
You can
right.
never tell a man he's a homemaker, though. Let's not use that title. Can't happen.
Yeah,
It's daddy daycare.
daddy daycare. You can't demasculate a man because
Right.
they are making less. That's what you can't do. Because at the end of the day, just because you're bringing home the money, he's still the man. And the
Right.
roles don't really change. You know, a man requires a certain level of respect, no matter who's bringing the money home. I think a problem is too, though, a lot of women can accept that, so they disrespect these men.
Mm.
No, that's definitely true. But
Hmm.
hey, it's on that man to be disrespected, in my opinion. So if you stand for it, you're there for a reason, and there's probably ulterior motives why you're taking that disrespect.
Men that are listening, definitely comment below, like right now on this YouTube page while you're watching, comment right now. But I think it's good. I mean, the bills got to be paid. And right now, your light company and gas company don't care what gender is paying them bills. And neither do I if them lights is on and it's cold outside and that heat is on. I ain't care who paying it. And you're right. Like, me and my husband was speaking and he was I think it was this lady in Africa and she had this very high position. Her husband stayed home, but she still came home, got his slippers, rubbed his feet. She did everything. So it didn't matter that she brought home all the money or had a high power position. She still catered to her man and he still accepted it. He didn't care that she was out working all day. But just like Jamie Foxx had that song Gold Digger, you do have it where some people main objective is to get the money. And that's it, because some people look at it as a business transaction. At the end of the day, they may not like you, they may not love you, you may not satisfy them in the bedroom, intellectually, whatever, but they're just all about that money.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke.
Because money is how you got to live. So, I mean, whatever and however you get it, it's a famous saying that said, get it how you live. I guess that's how you're going to get it. But I mean, should you seek on that? No, because especially in today's world, people are losing their jobs and incomes are changing left and right. So really, it's just like when you're out there looking, you really got to be genuine, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say one of the things that Kevin Samuel said that really had me thinking was the fact that he said, you women are out here looking for these six-figure men, but that requires a lot of work. It's not going to be this lifestyle of the rich and famous, and you're just driving around going shopping. He basically said, you are going to have to get up at 5, go to the gym, make sure the kids are fed, make sure I'm fed, take me off to work, make sure the house is clean, make sure I got food on the table when I get home and at peace. And I'm like, oh, who want to do? I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot of things to get
Yeah.
done in a day if you want to be just somebody's concubine, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't want to be nobody's concubine.
I'm tired of it.
When you have all those demands, what that man has to understand is, even though that woman is seeking them, 9 times out of 10, they're getting a female who is significantly younger than them, right? And I feel some kind of way about that because in a sense, everybody that he has talked about personally and he has discussed is been under the age of 35. First of all, the mental capacity of those individuals that he was addressing as women are not in the same mental capacity as us. Okay, that's a given. They're under 35, 9 times out of 10, they're about between the ages of 25, 27. That's what he discussed. And with that being said, at some point, while that woman is going to the gym every day, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that because that's a benefit to that woman. You're keeping yourself healthy, but you can also be preparing yourself for that next man, right?
Exactly.
While you think you have control and you're doing this and that, and this woman only wants you for income, a gold digger is going to look to seek to take what you have and run with it. And she's preparing herself for somebody else. So
exactly,
these men have to consider that aspect as well.
And you know what? You made me think, because going to the gym and working out, not only for your health, but to keep yourself looking good, because he always talk about the outside, but as us, as especially women, and I mean men too, don't get me wrong, but as women, do women gain value with age, or are we declining on the pole? What do you think?
Well, I just want to kind of comment because what Megan S. just said about how a woman of a certain age doesn't have the mindset of a 35 to 40-year-old woman. So in my opinion, the wisdom that you gain with age is a significant value. But according to Kevin Samuels, men aren't looking for all of that. They're just looking for the physical.
Men value your femininity, your beauty, your fitness, your submissiveness, your cooperation, your womb. You may be successful in your career, but your education, your income does not increase your value to men.
Which is a damn shame, because you need a woman with wisdom and clarity so she can hold you back up.
In that aspect, I agree with Kevin Samuels. That is what a lot of men look for. And there's nothing wrong with them looking for that. They just have to understand that while they have an ulterior motive for keeping those individuals, which most of the time is to be a trophy, it's not to groom it's not to groom them into being women after the age of 35. Because if you have something against or you feel women are devalued after the age of 35, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to throw them away. A lot of what this man has put out, he's thrown percentages, he's thrown numbers. Where is the data? Where is the data? I don't want to hear about you receiving emails from people.
Right.
Where is the data? You haven't presented that. So I'm not even believing anything. You're devaluing women. It's not going to take my worth away as an individual. And, I think with people, the women that fall in the category that he talks about, it can, in a way, give a negative impression on them and make them think, oh man, after you turn the age of 35, it's over. No, you know why? Because they have Botox, they have surgeries that you can get. Anybody today can be beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Looks should be out of the question. When it comes to income, that's a different thing. But if you have the income, you can change the looks. You can be whoever it is you want to be. At some point, those looks are not going to be there. Okay. And that goes for men and women. So you have to, it all boils down to communication, being with somebody for longevity and being able to communicate with them, because the looks physically will not always be there.
You are absolutely correct about the data that he is putting out, all these figures and everything like that. And one of the things that he put out there, and I was like, I need to go look this up, was basically saying that there's more women than there are men.
Oh yeah.
Basically, if it's not even possible for every woman to be married to every man because there's more women than men. And I looked up the data, and that is false. There's actually more men than women, but the percentages are about 49 to 51%. More men. And this goes across the entire globe.
I think that depends on the demographics. When you're in a place like, and I'm just going to use this for an example, when you're in a place like Atlanta, you have to look at the demographics. You have to look at the ratio of men who are not into women, right? So there you do have a lot of women that reside, and you have less male population that is into women. So with that, I will agree, but I still don't know. What he's giving is not data driven, or it hasn't proven to be data driven. And that's what I have a problem with. So to answer your question, do women gain value with age? Absolutely. But I think it depends on that woman's circumstances. I can only speak for myself. I've gained value with age. I consider myself to be a seasoned woman these days, but do our looks change? Do we have more lines, as you know, in our face as we get older? Absolutely. But
Absolutely.
what the resolution to that is? Botox, right? Botox. You can change that. But I think all women should be comfortable with who they are and know that it is not necessary to have all of these things, because this is a natural process. If as a man you can't accept my natural process, I don't need you. Whether you
Right.
find value in the income or not, I don't need you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And you don't need me. So, with that being said, yes, I do think women gain value with age, a lot of value. It may not be physically, but we gain a lot of value because, maybe Jay said, wisdom, which men typically aren't interested in, but it depends on where those men's interests lie, and you have to be aligned with an individual that's going to accept you for who you are and respect you for who you are.
Right. Right. Mimi J, how you feel on that?
What
Yeah.
he was saying was, do women gain value with, no, he was like, do women gain value with time and age? What products gain value with time and usage? That's what he said.
Right. Usage once they're open.
Once
Right.
they're open, whatever the hell that means, because he basically putting us on the shelf like we part products and packages to be open and thrown away. Like, no, sir. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he necessarily values women's wisdom, or, or if he's just a chauvinist and he wants a woman to just be pretty to look at. I really don't know what angle he's coming from. But I believe women do gain value with age. I mean, you become more wise, you're more secure, you walk with confidence, you know your
Right.
role, you know what you can do, what you can't do, what you bring to the table, what you don't. When you're young, you're just open and clueless and unseasoned
Right.
and
Trying to
make
figure it
dumb
out.
mistakes.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah,
We've all
exactly.
been
Yes, wide open. And you're right. I do believe you live and you learn, and you are supposed to learn when you live. That's the main thing. And of course, I definitely feel the 40-year-old me is definitely different than the 20 or the 30-year-old me, because you learn each decade and every day. I think he's looking for someone, if he's giving all this advice to people, just like you said, a trophy wife, or just someone to put on the shelf, or an Instagram model with, I don't know, thought. I don't know what the heck
A
he's looking for.
thought.
He's not looking for a conversation. I mean, after a while, I want to be able to talk to you about anything where it's political, the environment. That would never go down in value. And I think as you become educated just through life in general, that is still sexy. That is still a sex appeal, where if I can sit down and just chat with you, because looks do fade. The butts, all this injections deflate. We've seen so many butt tragedies, and people are trying to hold on and fight gravity, but Mother Nature always wins. So as long as you just continue to look for the person within, and I know he said that's a bunch of crap and there ain't nobody out there for everybody. At the end of the day, I still believe it is. That's just called true love. Just throw back. And that really brings me to, are people looking just for someone who can bring in the money, or are they looking for someone that is educated and have a degree, and just someone that you can sit down at the table with and just have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee? Is that something that is still interests people today in the dating world, are looking for in a partner? What you think?
I friends that I have
Mhm.
that are on different income levels, and even younger than me have expressed to me that they are still looking for women with substance. And one of the main things that they say is they're looking for good conversation. You may be pretty, you may be you may have the look, you may have the body, but you have no substance, right? It's either one of the two things, or you have no drive. And so I definitely think men are still looking for women that have substance, somebody that they can communicate with. However, they're looking for those women to create longevity with, but they sometimes get distracted with what Kevin Samuels talks about in the women that are the trophy women. And there's nothing wrong with that, with the understanding that men are visionaries. So it is what it is, right? Does that mean that a woman of a certain stature that is going to sit around and wait for you? Absolutely not. You can't expect that, right? So I think there comes a time when everything is aligned for each individual woman and each individual man, that true love will happen with patience and just understanding that the time will come, as long as you understand your position, where you are, what you want, and you stick to it. Do not let people like Kevin Samuels tell you that you have to be a certain way to get a certain man, but don't be superficial in the process, right? If you're not making $200,000, you're making $20,000.
Stay on your level.
Okay, crickets, because you are totally wrong. You dead wrong. I'm sorry, and I probably get some. I'll catch some flack for. I don't care. But there are levels to this thing. And that's what we all have to understand. It's not being it's not trying to be better than anybody or anything like that, but there are levels to it. And you have to understand those levels. If you are an individual who strives to do the best that you can, and you're able to communicate that and put yourself in positions to where you meet these people and able to communicate with them,
right,
have at it, right? But 9 times out of 10, you are not even going to be in a situation to meet the types of people that you are striving to want to meet when it comes to income. So you have to, they're not just going to fall at you. They're not just going to see you in the mall because you have, a nice body and good looks.
Yeah, they're not there.
They'll probably be with you for a couple of hours, but outside of that, you can't be mad. You can't be mad. The same thing goes for men. You ain't gonna stick around long either if you have no drive and there is a successful woman that you want to that you aspire that you want to be with. Not gonna happen.
It's not. Mimi J, how you feel?
Well, it's interesting because Megan asked, a lot of the stuff that you're saying is actually in line with what Kevin Samuels was saying. And what is kind of interesting for me is like a lot of men that I know that are close to me are like, they agree 100% with what this man is saying. So in my opinion, I'm like, okay, one, should we consider that if this is truly what men are thinking? And a lot of the times I'm thinking, are they thinking these things, but they just don't tell them to us because they don't want to hurt our feelings, and things like that. And they have this man who's actually speaking on their behalf that's actually hitting it on the nail, and us women are just not getting it. So like, I know that we've been saying though, women, wisdom is this and that, and men should seek for wisdom. But if these men are sitting up here telling us that that's not what they're looking for, maybe there is something to consider about what he is saying. That's all I'm saying, because I don't agree with nothing. I mean, honestly, hearing him originally, I want to cuss his ass out. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, damn, all these men are actually agreeing with him. So maybe this is something to consider, to listen to and not be so combative about, even though he's disrespectful and says things in a very raw and rugged way. But maybe we need to see past all that and kind of hear what he's saying. I don't know. I'm probably gonna catch some flack for saying that, but I'm just thinking, because of course your first initial reaction is like, who you talking to? Like, you know what I'm saying? You want to cuss him out, but I don't know.
I think it's important to understand that you're talking, these conversations that took place were on this man's platform. He has every right to speak his opinion, every right to say whatever it is he wants to say. And from what I've seen, the videos I watch, these women have followed him. They watched him. So when they went on that show, they understood and they knew and expected what they were going to get. So I'm not going to put all the blame on this man for having an opinion. I think some things I don't agree with. His delivery, I probably wouldn't accept if I just met him personally, but I'm not getting ready to call into his show asking him for any advice either, because I already know what he's going to say. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, that you have met a man that said the same thing to you, but wasn't upfront enough or as raw as he is to say it the way that he said it. I have no issue with individuals speaking to me raw and upfront. I respect it, right? Mm-hmm. I might not agree with it, but I respect it. And I think we need to get out of our sensitive, emotional ways and be able to accept people communicating with us in this way. Because as you saw, the video with the young lady who got him so many views, and he kind of, he progressed he had on his platform at the expense of this young lady, right? You saw that. If you watch the video, she knew what she was getting into. So I can't say anything about that as because she knew. But no, I think you have to respect what the man is saying. And I wouldn't take everything that he's saying for the gospel. And nobody nominated him to be the spokesman for men. My question is, where is your woman? What are the characteristics of the woman that you have? That's the question that I have.
Or where your man? We don't know what he got, to be honest. Where your man at?
But I'm saying woman because he clearly has an issue. He's been hurt, right? He's coming from a place of hurt. He's coming from a place of bitterness. He's coming from a place of frustration, whether it be for him personally or just seeing things that take place with the male species, period. He's coming from a place of hurt.
Yeah, he is. And when you get on his show, I mean, you already know what you're calling into. So I don't know if you're ready to be stabbed, like you want to be like, okay, I'm just must be doing something wrong. So I need somebody to just tell me what's wrong with me. And he is definitely the one that's going to give it to you. But I do believe that he probably has been hurt, or maybe when he was younger, he was broken down. And now he feels that he's on this platform to where he's getting everyone back. I mean, is he really ready for love? Are you ready to love? Or you just want to just continue to break down these women? And with women, regardless, we all want to feel beautiful. We all want someone to think that we are attractive. And he's rating people 4s and 5s. Like, when you start rating people, but you got these women coming on your show dancing like they on what's the throwback movie? Players Club. And I mean, she was working hard. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, he didn't give you a Scooby snack and you doing all that, you about to break your hip. But I see you, girl. I see you. A man watching in it. He ain't looking at you. They looking now how much she worth, $20, $30, twerk.
There's nothing wrong with breaking somebody down, but when you break somebody down, don't do it on a public platform and know how to bring them back up, right? People can appreciate that a lot more. Don't break somebody down and just leave them there. Don't break somebody down with the intent on coming up from that or getting attention from the hurt that you've caused somebody else. And in my opinion, with that young lady, that's exactly what he did. But she asked for it too. So I can't solely blame him. Right. I blame her. Right?
Exactly.
Why can't you get a guy on your level? That's the real question. Well, the first thing, well, first of all, I would tell you what I said in here automatically is a problem. Why you would come onto a show that you know is a disagreement day? It's selfish.
When he had the opportunity, he said on the video, he said, he was like, you called me on the wrong day or whatever, but you know what? I'm going to talk to you. And at that moment in my mind, I said, you know what? He's getting ready to teach her a lesson, and he's getting ready to teach the viewers a lesson. And it was at her expense. If I was her, you know what I would have done? I would have closed that shutter on that camera, and I would have hung up on his head.
Right before he hung up on you. But you know what?
Never get the opportunity to do that. I would have hung up on his head.
That you said that, because I think he was trying to teach her a lesson, because if you know on the show, he said, if I don't have 50% likes, we going to the whole music. Y'all better like, y'all better push like.
I forgot about that part.
I said,
oh, yeah,
he's punishing the listeners if they don't get on his level. Okay, he gonna punish you real good. And I think the man is funny. He's funny as hell. I ain't gonna lie, he be having me rolling, but it is at the expense of other people. And I want to piggyback on that, because these women calling in sound real ignorant to me. I'm sorry. Like, a lot of these women, you know, calling in, they're shook, they scared to speak. He like, girl, get to the point. I'm like, girl, get to the point. I'm just like, why are you guys calling in here so weak to talk to this man? Like, is this where the Black community has come to? Like, this is just
because they're lonely. Like, the first thing I noticed, he asked a lot of them, do you want to get married? Are you looking to have kids? I mean, that's just like all the time. Like, yes.
No, but I think some of them want to pitch the entrepreneurs. They want to pitch who they are. But what I find is you do that, but you're hurting yourself in the process, because you let this man demean you in front of thousands of people, right? You allowed this man to disrespect you. And after that video, do I think your chances of finding a man and dying alone? I'll be with them after that, because people are going to see that. Okay, you have do that stuff in silence. I'm sorry, you sabotage yourself sometimes and don't even think about it, because again, you have your own motives. You got to get out of that. You're so thirsty. You have your own motives. We didn't need to know that I can't even tell you what her business name is from the pet whatever thing. Yeah, we just know
she got a pet business.
I only know that she came on there and basically made a fool out of herself and allowed this man to make a fool out of her as well.
He profited.
Yes, and other men are looking at this, laughing at her like, well, he is right. You are about a 5. I'm like, what? Like, so and men are just loving it. Men love hearing him clown this woman. They get a kick out of it.
Absolutely.
And she probably feel lower. She may even feel, we don't even know like, where her mental state may be at after this. She already looking for love and ready to love. And it's like, I'm a 5. So now when I go out, I'm just.
But a 5 isn't even average. That's not even average.
No, I did the math, because I said that too. And then I did the math, and it is average. Actually, 5.5 is average.
Average in whose mind?
Yeah. From 1 to 10, average is 5.5.
Well, clearly, when we're looking at it from a mathematical standpoint, but I mean, when we're looking at it from a physical standpoint, you know, and I'm sorry, that's not average.
Yeah, it's up to the eyes of the beholder.
There you go. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Straight up.
So, are you gonna claim a 5? That's what I ain't claiming no 5. I'm claiming 7. You hear me?
7.298. 9999999. No.
But the girl went on there talking about she rated herself as a 5. So you come on there with low self-esteem, girl. What is going on? Like,
how do you think she left though?
Oh, negative.
Right. Now are you feeling like a 3?
No, she a negative 2.
And I don't want to make light of it. I think it's very sad for a young Black woman to put herself in that position with dealing. She wasn't ready for that man. She wasn't ready to go on his show. So I'm not making light of that. And I want to make it clear. I would never disrespect or demean another woman. But you have to understand, when you go on these platforms, you know, the first mistake that she made was calling that doggone number to get on that show. The second mistake that she made was rating herself as a 5. You don't do that. I don't give a damn if you think you're a 2. You better say you're at least an 8, right? And let somebody else tell you that you are not, because they're only rating you off of your looks. You don't know. We don't know what you bring to the table. We don't know what your strengths are. So she did herself no justice by going on to that man's show, and he had every right to respond in the way that he responded.
Mm-hmm. And Queen, if you are listening, honey, we here at Coffee Chronicles, we would love to hear from you, as well as get everything out that you wanted to say that maybe you couldn't say, to basically just to get it all out. And also to our viewers, whether men or women, but if you are listening, please comment below right now. We want to hear from you. And are you rating men or women? Are you rating people in a relationship based on their income, their looks? Are you saying, well, if she's not a 10 in my eyes, or my friend's eyes, or homeboy eyes, and I can't even mess with her? It's like, if she don't meet what he say, models, when they come in, they're asked to strip naked. It's all about the face and all the contour and all of this stuff. No, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Let's not forget the core values of love, where it comes from. Core values. Are you a good person? Are you able to take care of yourself? Are you just everything? You really have to be able to do that. So definitely do not forget
humanity, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's important. That's more important than looks, by all means. Come on. Let's get out of that superficial way.
Exactly. You have to look for more than money, because as we know, in today's economy, jobs are not guaranteed, like I said. However, in my opinion, you still do have to bring something to the table, and it got to be something good. I'm sorry, it has to be. That's just my personal opinion. You have to bring something, because sex, looks, beauty, all of that googly feeling eyes, all that gets old after a while, and all combined or whatever. And I'm just speaking from someone that's been married for a long time. I ain't gonna tell you how long, but a long time. So definitely, just sometimes it's all about business, or you may look at it where you're never looking for love. You're just looking for what you can get out of it, and the bills and the money and your red bottoms and your labels and all of that. But does that really matter anymore? Is that truly what matters at the end of the day? Like my mom used to say, nothing get old but clothes. So honey, you looking at this fabulous 40 women, darling, on this screen, honey. We are up in here natural. Let me tell you something. We ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, we do get better with age. Okay. Matter of fact, we ain't even aging. We are those women that are just going to keep getting better. In closing remarks, ladies, what do you have to say? Go ahead, Mimi J.
I just have something simple to say, and that is love thyself, period. And the man shall come to you, period.
All right now, Megan.
I just want to say to all, to thyself be true. If you're not true to yourself, then you will not get what your heart desires. You will not get it. You will not reach that level of success. So just always know that, and love yourself. Have confidence, right? And confidence should not mean the hair that you put in your the hair that you add on, the lashes you put on, the makeup you put on.
Right. No.
Confidence starts within.
Confidence starts with, right? Because if I can't love me, how I'm gonna love you? How I'm gonna do that? I won't be good for no one else. And I could look like an Instagram model, because that's what's in now. I used to be Naomi Campbell, but now it's Instagram model. So if I could look like that, but if I bring nothing, or whatever the case may be, I have to love me. So we thank you guys for coming to watch us again. We definitely want to hear from you and what you're doing out there, and definitely look forward to our next episode. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great week.